Hi, I'm Jim Knotts, President and CEO of the Vietnam Veterans Memorial Fund. Welcome to today's virtual reading of the names. 2022 marks the 40th anniversary of the dedication of the Vietnam Veterans Memorial in Washington, D.C. As part of our commemoration, we'll host an in-person reading of the names at the wall from November 7th through 10th, 2022, when all 58,281 names on the wall will be read aloud. In the lead up to that event, we'll be reading names each day online while sharing the photos of these heroes. For our daily virtual reading, the names of the service members will be read by month and day of death between the years 1956 and 1975 in alphabetical order for the given day. We apologize in advance for any mispronunciations. Know that our readers are doing their best to honor these service members. We hope you'll listen and watch each day and share with others as we remember and honor those who gave their lives during the Vietnam War.
Richard Earl Arnold, Frank Walter Asp, Frank Neil Badalotti, Michael Wilson Bailey, Charles Jacob Bear, George Arthur Baker, Lanny Wilson Banta, Robert Nelson Barbary, Richard Dwayne Bearden, John Francis Bergerson, Hugh Elroy Best III, Larry William Beidiger, Howard Blandino, Frederick Monette Bonanno, Dennis James Brophy, Earl Frederick Brown, Clarence F. Brown Jr., Charles Doran Bullard, Herbert Hambly Butt Jr., William Edward Campbell, David Frank Clearman, John I. Cook, Marlon Curtis Cook, Floyd Allen Cribb, Gary Lee Crone, Jimmy Lee Caldwell, Anthony Dalpazzo Jr., William Daly, Charles Avery Dellinger, Richard Emerson Denny Jr., Edward Thomas Domain Jr., Donald Luther Dotson, William R. Dulett Jr., John Pierre Dowling, Thomas Stephen Drazer, William Richard Dumas, Roy Anthony Duthu, Jesse Leonard Ellis, Robert Blair England II, Dennis Charles Eschliman, Esteban Pena Estrada, Charles Earl Faggett, Richard Burdick Filer, Robert Wilson Floyd, Carl James Fox, Ronnie Dale Fulmer, William Rober Gluckstein, Kenneth Joseph Grassel, Joseph Edward Greenwell, William Harris Geyer, Cal Thomas Hammock, Jesse Leroy Hancock, William Richard Hardin, Larry Ray Harris, Perry Lee Harris, Kenneth Hirschman, Charles Coleman Hinton Jr., George A. Hoagland III, Cecil J. Hodgson, Robert Edwin Holton, Merle Griffin Hubbard, Harold Granville Huggart, Larry Frank Hunt, Bob Clarence Hunt Jr.,
Kurt Inout, Donald James Jacobson, Thelbert Allison James, Dan Laverne Jenkins, Lyle Menard Johannes, Clifford Curtis Johnson, Clifford Thomas Johnson, Victor Johnson Jr., John Richard Kawa, Lester Stephen Kennard, Richard Charles Knapp, Dennis Earl Koch, Michael J. Kochendorfer, Frank Michael Corner, Larry Edward Krebs, Dennis Lee Kurds, Jean Lawrence Kuvik, Robert Henry LeGrand, Gary Raymond Lambert, Thomas Andrew Lawson, John Earl Lay, Paul Richard Lee, Narciso Leos Jr., Frank Leptrone, Harold Benton Lineberger, Bill Brooks Long, Fortunato Luna Jr., Michael Thomas Mahoney, Jimmy Charles Marion, Foy Manion Mathis, Alfred Byron May, Roy Dell McGee, Charles Manley McGovern, Raphnel J. Maroney, Lynn Leroy Miles, Everett Jean Miller, Carl Socrates Miller Jr., James Dale Mills, No Miranda Perez, David Ives Mixter, John Alfred Moreau, William Larry Mott, Ricky Allen Myers, Robert William Nair, Warren Everett Phillips, Robert Louis Pittman, Leon Craig Pulaski, Carl Dennis Porter, Miguel Angel Puentes, Robert Lee Polium, Joseph Albert Quitos, Wilbert Reed, Ronnie Ellis Reeder, David Leo Reeve, Samuel David Reeves Jr., Elmer J. Reifschneider Jr., John A. Rickles, Jose Alberto Rivera Reeves, Stanley A. Robinson Jr., Samuel Rodriguez, Roberto Andreas Romero, Frank Roop, Samuel Ross, Joe Hearn Rufty,
John Franco Ruiz, Richard Shannon Russell, Howard Allen Schilheimer, Stanley Kenton Semler, John James Shaw, Claude Arnold Silva, Billy Joe Simmons, Robert Lee Smith, John Alexander Smith, Reynaldo Souza, Robert Eugene St. Peter, Larry Allen Stevens, Melvin James Stockdale, Roy Lee Stringer, Donald Sherrill Sullivan, Albert Hiroshi Tatsuno, Ronald Terrence Terry, James Weldon Thomas, Stuart Harold Thompson, Calvin Coolidge Tolley Jr., Charles Nicholas Tredennick, Claude Tyler Turner, Phil Isidore Valdez, Joseph Gary Vagrenek, Bernard Joseph Waite, Gary Edwin Ward, Lawrence O. Washington, Danny A. Weber, Richard Webster, Harold Hugh Welch, Robert Lee White, Charles Edward White, William Edmund White III, James Darrell White Jr., Alan James Williams, Thomas Darrell Williamson, John Peter Zielinski,